I want to share a few remarks. It's going to be hard to follow that group. I would like to share a few things with you. Number one, it's been a real pleasure for me to serve as president of MSBA and to follow many outstanding presidents before me. Jan, Larry, Mona, Doug, their leadership has been outstanding, and it's such a pleasure to follow them, and I hope I can keep up that good standard that they set for us, and I cherish their friendship. I believe there's a few things that in the coming year that we really, as board members and superintendents, really need to be concerned about and do to help better our public education in the state of Missouri. I think number one, we need to tell the good news. We've had so many performers and all the kids downstairs. I know each and every one of you in your districts, you have great teachers, you have great kids doing great things. And we really need to get that message out there. And it's so important that we do that. Number two, I think we need to really concentrate on the safety of our kids and our staff. We need to be proactive and not reactive. Our Center for Education Safety does a great job. We need to really follow their lead, not only in the state, but at the national level. And thirdly, we have to really work in governance. We're going to have a lot of changes with our government officials this coming year with the elections. I think it's so important that we all make good relationships with our government officials, not only at the local, state, and federal level, okay? But we have to build those relationships. We need to let them know that their decisions, how their decisions affects our kids. They'll listen to school board members if we really build those relationships. So I think it's something not only as board members, but as administrators, we really need to do. We'll face a lot of challenges this coming year. It's not going to go away. So that's important. Tell the good news, safety of our kids, and the governance. I think those three things we can really concentrate on. I've really been very fortunate in the 50-plus years that I've been in education as teacher, coach, administrator, and with my board service. I've had so many people that have influenced me in my life and my professional career, starting with my parents, my older brother, my wife, and my kids, and they have been very influential. And going back to my high school days and back at Monterey, had great teachers. When I went to SIU Carbondale, great professors, played for two outstanding coaches. Coach Harry Gallatin was my basketball coach, and Abe Martin was my baseball coach. And they were really very influential. When I started teaching back at Monterey, the teachers I taught with, I learned so much from. And also at Parkway West, those teachers were very influential. I think you can learn so much from your fellow professional people that you're involved with. I think we can learn so much from our board members we're involved with. That's very extremely important. I've learned so much when I got in board service from Dr. Carter Ward, from Melissa, from my board members. They have been very influential. I truly appreciate what they do. They've had to put up with me and the state meetings and national meetings and so forth. I appreciate what they do, and they've been very influential. It's a great board, and I appreciate that. Probably the one person that had the most influence on me was Dr. Al Burr. He was my 8th and 9th grade coach down at Bonterre. He taught us how to win, what we had to do, to the hard work and so forth, but he also taught us what we had to do to be successful in life. I was very fortunate to coach and teach under him when he was a principal at Parkway West High School. And I don't know, maybe some of you have heard him He was a great speaker, not only a great administrator, but a great speaker. Tremendous. He spoke all over the United States and really all over the world. And you can imagine the faculty meetings we had with him there. It was just phenomenal. And one of the things that he did, one of his speeches was, he would talk about his personal board of directors. And those were people that had a great influence on his life. And he would talk about that. Most of them were teachers, administrators, his parents, brothers and sisters. And he would have us at time to time on his faculty. We would talk about our board of directors, okay, who we would have. And it was a good learning experience. It had to take a lot of thought, but we got to really know our faculty members well by doing that. And so I thought, my first board meeting, directors meeting in MSBA as president, I told him, I said, hey, here's your homework assignment. He looked at me like, what? You're going to have homework assignment for the next board meeting. You're going to come back, okay? I want you to come back to the next meeting, and we're going to listen to your board of directors, who you would have on there. All of them did a great job. The one common denominator, we got to know each other much better, but the one common denominator that every one of the board had, who was on their board, was a teacher. Every one. Which tells you that education plays a great role in your life. And it was a good lesson for all of us. And I think that's something that you as board members, maybe in a board retreat, can do. I think you as superintendents could take your administrative staff and do the same thing. Good exercise to get to know your fellow board members and your fellow people that you work with. So it was good. I think we all enjoyed it, and it was very enlightening. Let me close by giving you something that I got from a college professor down at SIU Carbondale, home of the Salukis. It was something that really has influenced my professional career and my board service, again, throughout my whole life. And Dr. Shea was our swimming coach at SIU, but he also taught all the education classes in the phys ed department. And, back in those days when you're 21, 20 years old, you look at Dr. Shea and he looked like he was 95 years old. And you wondered, okay. But yeah, I look back and such a wise man, So right before the final exam in the philosophy of education class, the last semester before you graduate, he came up to us and he said, you're going to forget at least 50% of what I taught you in this class. Kind of looked at him, okay. You're going to forget it once you go out. But he says, I'm going to give you something that I do not want you to forget, and I want you to practice. And he gave us a little 3x5 card, okay? And on that 3x5 card, it said, and he had handwritten it to each of us, and it said, Mike, 5 things that you must do to be a successful teacher coach. Now you can take these 5 things and relate it to any profession. You can make it as far as a board member, superintendent, whatever. Just kind of change the name a little bit of some of these things. Number 1, get to know your students. Okay? Number 2, teach the basics, the fundamentals. Number 3, set high expectations for your students and yourself. I like number 4. Make friends with the custodians, cooks, secretaries, and bus drivers. Pretty important. And number 5, surround yourself with good people. You know what? that was so true 50 years ago, it is so true today. Hey, I appreciate letting me share a few comments with you. It's a great thrill to be the president of your organization. And at this time, I want to bring Jan Mees up. She's going to make some special presentations. Thank you for listening.